Robert Rodriguez, CEO of NatCom Global. Well, originally it was a company that focused on marketing and promotional activities. It has since evolved into a video content company that produces short form video. These are video segments that are 1 minute to 2 minutes in length, and it distributes it to television stations and internet sites and mobile carriers around the world.
Okay.
I think my primary role is chief cheerleader. So the idea is that we have a very talented group of professionals here and in Latin America primarily, and we create a lot of content. So the idea from our perspective is to have that content resonate with the viewers through the different vehicles that we use, whether it's the big portal sites like AOL or our own distribution platform, which we provide to smaller publishers. So chiefly it's that.
Okay.
Well, I often look at any business that I see has potential. One example is my 12-year-old son just started manufacturing through his own 3D printer these little new spinners that have become very popular. And he formed a partnership with a friend of his, another 12-year-old at school, and said, I think we could sell a lot of those. So I kind of looked at it very quickly and said, well, it's a fad, like many fads are. You have your own control through your own printer, and you probably can make some money on it. So in that case, I will look at something and see if there's a marketplace for it, and if so, what the size of the market is very quickly. And it's more of a hobby than anything else, meaning can I look at a business and see, do I think it has potential? So the example of my son's business is one that comes to mind.
Okay.
Well, I started my career in publishing through a division of the Dallas Cowboys, meaning this was a publishing company in Miami. The owner of the Dallas Cowboys and the owner of the company got together. So I was very fascinated with the whole concept of marketing, looking at it from selling advertising initially, then to seeing the Tony Roma restaurant chain, which was also affiliated with this company, and then ultimately when the owner of the Dallas Cowboys became affiliated with the entity, looking at the major power that comes as a result of a big brand. And so that was the fascination. And then my partner and I joined forces. He was also working at the company, and we decided it was a time to really break out and try to do something in the promotional arena, and that's what we started in 1982. Well, we saw the advent of the whole internet revolution come upon us in the late 90s. We got very active at the time with several online sites that were asking for information about how we could help them in marketing. And we were witnessing at that time a real transformation, and we were getting more and more excited about the potential of digital and understanding that digital was something that was upon us and was going to change every industry. So that was in the 90s. And that was our initial foray into it as marketers. When we were able to acquire this company from NBC, the video content company that we are now all about, it was just a kind of an acceleration of that process. Well, we have done a lot of interactive training programs. So in this case, what we have provided them is a forum where we can train their personnel, record it, video record it, and then distribute it to a wider audience. So in the case of whether it be HUD or HHS, Health and Human Services, or the Department of the Treasury, it was really about understanding how to train their employees to do something different, whether it's how they act towards contractors or how they handle services, how they manage circumstances. So in the case of FEMA, which is part of Homeland Security, we have had historically a training contract where we train their personnel, and in all instances we are capturing that training for the purposes of distributing it through multimedia means at a later date. So the best example I would use is Health and Human Services, where we film everything, we then create a template for video on computers, and then people can train at their leisure by watching videos and then interacting with that. So that's kind of an extension of our video content business. In this case, it's not trying to educate a user or a reader or something. It's trying to see how they get trained for a specific task. Well, one thing that we are very, very proud of, Susan, is that in the history of this company, we have never had a story rejected or retracted. We have journalists in this organization. First and foremost, everything is verified. Everything has a standard that we adhere to. And that's one of the things that we talk about all the time, which is the integrity of the content that we put out. So when we're talking content and we're talking news and we're talking anything related to something that any one of our viewers are going to hold dear, we hold it very in the highest regard in terms of its integrity. So to the extent that we're producing content, it's always verifiable. Most of the content we produce is in collaboration with large media entities that help us verify it. So as an example, in our FYI News product, we have a strategic relationship with EFE, which is the wire service owned by the government of Spain. They allow us to create from their raw footage content that we produce. They are the initial source, for the most part, of the content that we produce on the news side. So that is important for our verification. As far as the branded information that may come out of it, meaning a client that wants to produce what today is very popularly called native content, what it basically means is that you could be showing a video of a vehicle, but never mention the vehicle. It's not an ad, it's kind of like an editorial or an advertorial on it. The law says that if you are being paid for by that client, you must disclose it. So in any instance that we are paid for by a client, we will disclose it as paid content. Okay. I think more and more we're witnessing a lot of efficiencies with what you want and gathering that information. Certainly when it comes to e-commerce, you're seeing that now companies like Amazon and Apple are even creating voice-activated systems in the home whereby you can, in essence, order anything you want at a moment's notice, but also predictive analytics where it already knows and predicts what you think you may want and offers it up to you by way of videos or by way of just an action. So I think part of this is what they call artificial intelligence is fastly coming to be part of the norm. And that means that everything on the predictive side is going to become more important. And that also means that all of our data and records are really exposed, and that's on the privacy side something that could be scary because then you can get into, bad actors accessing information from health records to things like that. So again, there's the balance of what you want and what you wish for, frankly. Mm-hmm.